If destiny controls everything, why do our choices still change our lives? Why does Shiva, one of the most respected deities in Hindu tradition, appear with ash on his body, a snake around his neck, and a third eye? What if this unusual appearance is not meant to frighten us, but to teach us how to face fear, loss, change, and life's uncertainty? Many people grow up hearing that destiny is fixed and nothing can be changed. This idea exists in many cultures, but Hindu philosophy is more complex. Texts like the Bhagavad Gita 2.47 teach that action still matters, even if we cannot control every result. This shows a balance between destiny and human effort, not helplessness. At the same time, Shiva's form, described in Shiva traditions and Puranic stories, is filled with symbols. Scholars and spiritual teachers explain these features as symbolic, not literal decorations. The ash is often linked to the idea that all material things are temporary. The snake can represent power and danger under control. The third eye is commonly understood as higher awareness. These meanings come from long traditions of interpretation, though details can vary by region and text. In this video, we will explore how these symbols connect to real problems like fear, stress, loss, anger, and confusion about our future. The goal is not superstition, but understanding life in a deeper and calmer way. Stay with this journey until the end to see how all these ideas connect into one powerful message about inner strength. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe so more people can learn and reflect with us. Many people believe destiny is a fixed script and that human effort does not matter. But this idea does not fully match classical Hindu teaching. A well-known verse in the Bhagavad Gita says, "A person has a right to action, but not full control over the results." This is often understood to mean that life includes both past causes and present choices. Different Hindu schools explain this balance in different ways, but most agree that effort, intention, and responsibility are important. When people think nothing can change, they may stop trying. And modern psychology also observes a similar pattern called learned helplessness, where repeated failure can make a person feel powerless even when change is still possible. This shows how belief about destiny can shape behavior in daily life. Imagine a worker who loses a job during an economic slowdown. One view is, "This is my fate, I can do nothing." Another view is, "I cannot control the layoff, but I can learn a new skill." The second view does not deny difficulty. It accepts reality while still choosing action. Many success stories in real life follow this path, where people adapt after loss rather than surrender. This does not guarantee quick success, and it is honest to say that social and economic limits are real, but effort still changes possibilities over time. In this sense, destiny is not only something that happens to us, it is also shaped by how we respond. In the wider theme of Shiva's symbolism, this idea connects to inner strength. Shiva is often shown calm in difficult surroundings, which many teachers interpret as a reminder that steadiness of mind matters. That is an interpretation, not a measurable fact, but it has inspired people for centuries. When we combine thoughtful action with acceptance of limits, we move from fear toward responsibility, and this shift can quietly change the direction of our lives. In many images from Shiva traditions, Shiva's body is shown covered with ash, often called vibhuti or bhasma. In Hindu practice, sacred ash is used in rituals and is linked to the idea that all physical forms return to a basic state after death, especially in the context of cremation, which has long been a common funerary practice in India. This does not mean life has no value. Rather, it highlights impermanence, a theme also discussed in several Indian philosophical traditions. Scholars and teachers explain that the ash is symbolic, not meant to be taken as a literal daily condition of a historical person. The core idea is that wealth, beauty, status, and even the body itself do not last forever. This is a fact of human life that can be observed anywhere, not only in religion. In daily life, many people suffer deeply when they lose a job, a relationship, or social respect. The pain is real, and it should not be dismissed. At the same time, much of the suffering comes from strong attachment to things we believed would never change. Indian philosophical thought often links attachment with distress when change happens. This does not mean we should not love people or work hard. It means we should understand that change is natural. When people accept this slowly and honestly, fear of loss can reduce. Modern mental health approaches also note that accepting reality rather than denying it helps emotional recovery. In a motivational sense, which is an interpretation rather than a strict fact, Shiva's ash-covered form can be seen as a reminder that inner qualities like patience, kindness, and courage last longer than outer possessions. A person who builds inner strength can stand again after loss, while someone who depends only on external success may struggle more when change comes. This does not remove pain, but it can give a steady base. The symbol of ash, understood through tradition, quietly teaches that while everything outside changes, the way we grow inside can give lasting support. In many traditional images of Shiva, a snake is seen resting around his neck. In Indian culture, snakes have long carried strong symbolic meaning. They can represent danger because some snakes are poisonous, but they also represent life force and energy in certain yogic and symbolic traditions, where terms like prana are used to describe vital energy. These meanings are symbolic and come from long-standing belief systems, not from modern biological science. The key idea is that the snake stands for something powerful that can harm if uncontrolled, but can also be a source of strength when handled with awareness. Shiva wearing the snake, instead of fearing, it is widely interpreted as a sign of mastery, not destruction of the snake. In daily life, fear works in a similar way. Fear is natural and even useful. It helps us avoid danger, study for exams, and prepare for important events. Problems begin when fear grows too strong and takes control. A student may know the answers but forget everything in the exam hall because of panic. A person may avoid speaking in public, not because they lack knowledge, but because anxiety feels overwhelming. Modern psychology also explains that emotions like fear and anger are part of our survival system, but they need regulation. Techniques like slow breathing, preparation, and positive self-talk are often used to manage anxiety, showing that control is possible even if fear does not fully disappear. In a motivational and symbolic sense, Shiva's snake can be seen as a reminder that strength does not come from removing all fear, but from learning to stay calm while fear exists. This is an interpretation drawn from tradition, not a measurable fact, but it has guided many spiritual teachings. When we accept that fear is part of life and focus on managing it rather than running from it, we grow in confidence. The snake around the neck becomes a symbol of balance, showing that powerful forces inside us, including emotions, can be held with steadiness instead of allowing them to rule our actions. One of the most striking features in images of Shiva is the third eye on his forehead. In many Hindu stories and later yogic traditions, this eye is linked with higher awareness or insight beyond ordinary sight. Some yoga systems connect it with the Ajna center, often described symbolically as a place of inner vision, though this is a spiritual model, not a physical organ recognized by medical science. In Puranic mythology, there is a well-known story where Shiva opens this eye and burns Kamadeva, the deity linked with desire. Different texts tell this story in different ways, and scholars explain it symbolically as the burning of uncontrolled desire or distraction, not simply an act of anger. So the idea of destruction connected with the third eye is often understood as the removal of ignorance, illusion, or harmful impulses. In daily life, lack of awareness can cause serious problems. A person who reacts in anger without thinking may damage a friendship or career in a few minutes. Someone who makes financial decisions without understanding risks can fall into debt. These are not matters of fate alone. They are linked to attention, knowledge, and self-control. Modern psychology also studies impulse control and mindfulness, showing that when people pause and observe their thoughts and feelings, they make better decisions. This connects closely with the symbolic idea of an inner eye that sees clearly before acting. In a motivational sense, which is an interpretation rather than a scientific claim, the third eye of Shiva can remind us that awareness shapes destiny. Luck plays a role in life, and it is honest to admit that not everything is under our control, but many outcomes depend on how clearly we see a situation. When we learn to step back, reflect, and act with understanding instead of impulse, we reduce harm and create better paths. The symbol teaches that true power is not loud or violent. It is the quiet ability to see truth and let that vision guide our actions. In many Hindu traditions, Shiva is associated with Mount Kailasa, a sacred mountain region in the Himalayas. For believers, this place is deeply holy, while for scholars it is also part of a rich, symbolic landscape in Indian religion. Whether taken as sacred geography or spiritual symbol, the mountain setting points to quiet, height, and distance from crowded life. Shiva is often described as living in simplicity, wearing basic clothing, and sitting in meditation. This image stands in contrast to busy city life and constant social competition. It suggests that power does not always come from wealth or noise, but from inner steadiness. This is an interpretation from tradition, not a historical report about a person's daily lifestyle, and different communities understand it in different ways. In modern life, many people face stress from long work hours, financial pressure, and social comparison, especially through media and online spaces. Studies in psychology show that constant stimulation and lack of rest can increase anxiety and reduce clear thinking. Practices like spending time in quiet places, limiting distractions, and taking breaks from screens are often recommended for mental health. These ideas connect well with the symbolic image of a mountain retreat. The mountain does not run away from the world. It simply stands firm and still. This stillness becomes a model for the mind. In a motivational sense, Shiva's association with the Himalayas can be seen as a lesson that simplicity gives strength. This does not mean everyone must leave society or avoid work. It means creating moments of silence and reducing unnecessary wants can improve clarity. When the mind is calmer, decisions become wiser and reactions become softer. Destiny, in this view, is influenced not only by effort, but also by the state of the mind that makes choices. By valuing quiet reflection along with action, people may find better balance. The mountain image reminds us that rising higher in life sometimes begins with learning how to be still. One of the most famous stories about Shiva is his role in controlling the descent of the river Ganga. According to the Puranas, the river flowed from the heavens to earth with enormous force. If it had fallen freely, it could have destroyed villages and caused great harm. Shiva caught the river in his hair and gently guided it to the earth, showing control over a powerful natural force. This story is often interpreted symbolically, not as literal history, to teach lessons about managing overwhelming energy or emotion. The river represents strong forces in life that, if uncontrolled, can cause damage, but with guidance and patience, they can be channeled safely. In our daily lives, people face similar challenges with powerful emotions. Sudden anger, deep sadness, or intense stress can feel overwhelming, just like a river rushing toward the earth. Many people make decisions in these moments that they later regret. For example, someone who reacts angrily to a family dispute or a work problem may damage relationships or lose trust. Psychology also observes that emotional regulation, the ability to calm oneself and direct feelings appropriately, improves decision-making and reduces harm. Meditation, mindfulness, and breathing exercises are modern tools that echo this symbolic lesson. In addition to emotions, life circumstances can also feel like rushing rivers. A sudden illness, financial problem, or unexpected event can push someone to panic or despair. The story of Shiva guiding the river suggests that calm awareness and careful action help us navigate challenges without being swept away. This does not remove the difficulty or guarantee outcomes, but it increases our ability to respond effectively. In spiritual teachings, the controlled flow of Ganga also connects to the idea of patience and long-term perspective. Strong forces, whether inside or outside us, require careful handling rather than immediate reaction. In a motivational sense, Shiva's role teaches that the mind can act as a stabilizer. Just as the river was not stopped but guided, our challenges and emotions can be managed without suppression or avoidance. Learning to observe feelings, pause before acting, and channel energy constructively allows life to move forward without unnecessary harm. The story encourages patience, emotional strength, and steady guidance, showing that even overwhelming forces can become helpful when approached with calm awareness. It is a symbolic reminder that control does not always mean stopping something, but directing it wisely. Another important symbol in Shiva's appearance is the crescent moon on his head, which carries deep meaning in Hindu tradition. The moon is often linked with time, cycles, and natural rhythms, such as waxing and waning. Scholars and traditional texts explain that the crescent symbolizes the cyclical nature of life, including periods of growth, decline, and renewal. It reminds people that just as the moon changes, life moves through phases of difficulty and ease. This is not a literal claim about history, but a symbolic teaching meant to guide reflection and patience. Understanding this can help us face personal challenges more calmly, knowing that hard times are temporary and good times will return. In real life, people experience emotional ups and downs, unexpected challenges, and times of both hope and disappointment. Someone may face a period of illness, loss, or financial difficulty and feel trapped in a moment of struggle. At the same time, they may also have periods of success, health, and growth. These fluctuations are natural, and ignoring them can create frustration or fear. Psychologists describe this as normal mood and life cycles, and understanding that life moves in patterns can reduce stress and help people make better decisions. The moon on Shiva's head is a symbolic reminder that patience and resilience are important because all difficulties eventually pass. Just as the moon waxes after it wanes. In a motivational sense, the crescent moon can inspire hope. Like the moon's changing phases, personal challenges, failures, or losses are not permanent. Each person has the ability to recover, adapt, and grow. This symbolism encourages seeing life as a series of opportunities rather than a straight line of problems. It reminds people that emotional and personal growth occurs gradually over time, and setbacks are part of the cycle rather than the end. Understanding cycles also helps in maintaining balance during success, preventing overconfidence or stress from fleeting situations. Overall, the crescent moon, like the other features of Shiva's appearance, shows that life is full of change, both inside and outside ourselves. The symbolic teaching encourages awareness, patience, and resilience, reminding us that inner steadiness, combined with acceptance of life's cycles, can help navigate challenges. By reflecting on these lessons, one can develop emotional strength, find balance in ups and downs, and approach destiny with hope, awareness, and calm determination. This connection between symbolism and practical life makes Shiva's form a timeless guide for facing change wisely. Throughout this journey, we have explored the many meanings behind Shiva's appearance and how these symbols connect with real life. Each part of his form, from the ash covering his body to the crescent moon on his head, carries lessons about facing change, fear, and the ups and downs of life. The ash reminds us that material things do not last forever, and that inner strength matters more than outer possessions. The snake shows that fear and strong emotions are natural, but they can be controlled and used wisely if we stay calm. The third eye symbolizes awareness and reflection, teaching that careful observation and understanding can guide better decisions in life. Living in the mountains suggests that simplicity, stillness, and quiet reflection give the mind strength to act wisely. Guiding the river Ganga through his hair shows that powerful forces, like strong emotions or sudden challenges, can be managed carefully without causing harm. Finally, the crescent moon reminds us that life moves in cycles, with good and bad times passing in turn, teaching patience, resilience, and hope. All of these symbols together show that destiny is not just something that happens to us. While luck and circumstances play a role, much of life depends on how we respond, the choices we make, and the inner strength we build. Hindu teachings like the Bhagavad Gita highlight the importance of action and responsibility alongside awareness of limits. Modern psychology supports similar ideas, showing that emotional regulation, reflection, and patience help people make better decisions and recover from setbacks. Understanding Shiva's symbolism helps us see that challenges, fears, and changes are part of life, and they can be faced with calm, awareness, and courage. By practicing these lessons in everyday life, we can shape our destiny more effectively, grow through hardships, and find balance and hope even in difficult times. These insights make Shiva's appearance not only a spiritual guide, but also a practical source of motivation for navigating the real world.